The Late Night Legends podcast is meant for a mature audience. Please be aware of your surroundings. Audience discretion is advised. Watch out. Lives to lie. Some people call it paranoia.
Late Night Legends, internet podcast radio show, the finest content on the interwebulous stratosphere. My name is Frank Barrientos, and I'm here with my co-host Maria and Tim. Running kind of light on our staff today. I want to apologize to everybody because Maria noticed Tim's shirt, and then we all lost it for just a moment.
It is a fun shirt.
It is a fun shirt. Did we ever look up Titanic #2?
We did. And we decided it was a real show where people went on another tour 200 years later or something, and I don't know, it was some weird thing.
Oh, is that the premise? I didn't look up the premise. I just looked to see that it was real, and then I didn't go back.
I looked it up and I read it, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's just the same story. They just made a remake like 100 years later.
Hey, I mean, if it's going to pull in some money, which it didn't, I don't think that it did.
I don't think it did either.
I feel like it probably was like one of those straight to VHS deals. Mm-hmm. Maria, are you aware of how straight to VHS worked? It's
like straight to DVD, probably.
Yeah, straight to DVD. You know how that works? It's like okay, like Disney has like the Little Mermaid, but like a lot of people don't know there's like two. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like Little Mermaid 2 that went straight to DVD that you never hear about. Yeah. It feels like Titanic 2 might be something like that.
I like how Maria has to upgrade us from straight to VHS to straight to DVD.
I had some VHS when I was little.
Makes us feel old for sure.
What was the name of that form before, or the tapes before VHS? What was it, like Betamax? Was that Beta?
Yeah.
Or is that music? Was Betamax music or was that movies?
8-track was music. I think Betamax was the video.
Yes, Beta. Are you familiar with Betamax, Maria?
Not the
that one
Big
I'm
Hero
not
6.
Aware of. It's kind of like a VHS if you've seen one of those dinosaurs, but it's smaller and thicker and fatter. I feel like it was the superior of the two, actually. I don't know why we started going for VHS. What do you think? I don't know. I guess that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a paranormal media format show where we're gonna talk about Betamax and Laserdisc.
Which one was more haunted?
More likely to be haunted.
As you can see tonight, we're running a little short. I would like to, however, say happy birthday to Charlie. Today is Charlie's birthday, so I hope he's having a good one. Ashley is traveling. She's in Texas with her friends. Kay is still out. Colin is on vacation for his birthday. And who am I missing? Am I still missing anybody? I don't think so.
I think that's everybody.
Charlie, Tim, myself, Ashley, Colin, Kay. Yeah, I guess that is everybody. Man, sometimes it feels like I'm just missing somebody here. So yeah, we're running kind of short tonight, but it's still going to be a really fun night. I'm a little bit under the weather, but we're going to make it happen. I was talking to Tim prior to the show, and he's promising me it's going to be pretty funny. So I cannot wait. Maria, does your shirt say something about a cat dimension?
Oh yeah, it's a portal to the cat dimension.
Portal to the cat dimension.
And then at the bottom it says "and other nightmares."
I love it.
Love it too. That's awesome. All right, Tim, take it away.
All right. Well, thanks, Frank. Well, I've been doing like ghost hunting and paranormal research for a while, and some of the stuff I've found is some seriously dark stuff. Like I think you've heard me cover some demonic possessions, talking about things in The Conjuring, things like that. You heard some of my ghost stories and some instances that have happened to me in the past, but tonight I'm taking a completely different approach. We got some crazy stories for you that are hard to believe, and the great part about all of them is none of them have been debunked yet. So all of these are still out there as potentially true. So I'm going to start by kind of setting the mood. Picture this. It's a foggy evening in Highgate, London. You're walking through Pond Square with someone special. Maybe you're holding hands, enjoying one of those perfect romantic moments that makes you believe in magic. The old Georgian houses, they loom around you, their windows glowing warmly in the mist. Everything is peaceful, everything is normal, until suddenly you hear frantic chicken clucking. You hear their feathers rustling, and then you see it.
I have to admit, I did not know it was going to take that type of a turn.
Exactly. Oh, these are crazy tonight, I'm telling you. So you see it. It's a chicken. But it's not just any chicken. It's a half-plucked, disheveled, absolutely ridiculous-looking chicken that's running around frantic circles around the square. And it looks like it's auditioning for the world's weirdest marathon. You and your date obviously stop. You stare. You probably question how much you drank that night. And then the chicken clucking just stops abruptly when you watch the chicken run straight through a brick wall and vanish.
Oh.
He went to platform 9 3/4.
So this is just the beginning of tonight's journey, all right? Not every ghost story is designed to keep you awake at night, clutching your covers. Sometimes the paranormal world serves up cases so absurd, so genuinely ridiculous, that you're more likely to die laughing than of fright. So here's what makes tonight special. These aren't just funny stories that someone made up. These are documented cases, witnessed events, and historical accounts that, despite their complete absurdity, have never been properly debunked. So, Frank, I know you approach things with very scientific skepticism. So I'm curious, how would you even begin to debunk a ghost chicken?
I think the first thought I had was that somebody's probably trying to cook them and eat them and maybe thought the chicken was dead. You can knock a chicken out without killing it. And, you have to feather a chicken, right? So the first thought that I had was maybe somebody was trying to do that. Maybe they thought they killed the chicken. A lot of people are not comfortable just chopping the head off of a chicken. Which, by the way, even if you kill a chicken, they still run around sometimes. If you've never killed a chicken before, if you've never cut a chicken, like that's where that saying running around like a chicken with its head cut off, right? So like a chicken can be completely dead and still run around. I do know that not everyone has the testicular fortitude to cut a chicken's head off. So my first thought was like maybe somebody's trying to cook this chicken. They, knocked it out, or maybe they did kill it and the head's still on and started feathering the chicken to eat, and then it was running around. And the going through the brick wall part, I don't know. I feel like from a scientific standpoint, maybe that person watched that chicken run away and then it disappeared into a bush and there's a wall behind it. So they're like, oh, it must have ran into the wall. Haha. But I don't know, man. That is where my head was. But who was cooking that chicken? I don't know. Where did it run from? I don't know. How long, how much running does a chicken have in it after it's dead? If it's dead while in that scenario, I don't know. I feel like it. I have no idea.
Yeah, I got to say, when I started doing the research for tonight's topic, I was kind of like, how could these not be proven false? They're just so ridiculous to me. But then I'm like, well, maybe they're true. Maybe that's why they haven't been proven false. I don't know. We'll let the audience judge for themselves. But, we're going to spend the next hour discussing, 3 different topics. The first being a ghost chicken that we kind of just started with. Second is a woman who committed suicide over paint colors. And then the third is a man who attempted to prevent a dog haunting that spectacularly backfired. So sometimes the universe has a weird sense of humor, and sometimes the supernatural world decides to serve up a little comic relief. So buckle up. We're about to explore these 3 cases that prove the paranormal world doesn't always take itself seriously. So let's start with that chicken, shall we? Now, this happened a long time ago. This was in 1626. And it was one of the most brilliant minds in English history, having what might be the most ridiculous final moments ever recorded. So Sir Francis Bacon was a philosopher, a scientist, politician, and the guy who basically invented the scientific method was riding through North London on a snowy day when he had what seemed like a perfectly reasonable scientific idea. You see, Bacon was obsessed with preservation. He wanted to understand how cold affected the decomposition of organic matter. So when he saw all the fresh snow, he thought, you know what? I should stuff a chicken with snow and see what happens. I'm sure that's everyone's first thought, right? And, I've had some questionable ideas in my time, but let's go buy a chicken and fill it with snow in the middle of winter has never been one of them. Frank, you?
Filling some things with snow, yes. Filling a chicken, no. I would say negatory on that.
Maria, chicken?
No.
No? Okay.
Filled my dad's muffler on the car full of snow, sure.
Does it look like a banana in the tailpipe?
Oh my God, I want to watch Beverly Hills Cop again. I actually have it ready to go.
Nice.
It's weird that you mentioned that. It's weird. That's a weird thing, Tim. I'm weirded out now.
So Bacon stops his carriage. He buys a chicken from a local woman, unalives it, plucks it, well, mostly plucks it, and starts stuffing it with snow. The experiment worked, sort of. The cold did preserve the chicken, but unfortunately, Bacon himself actually caught pneumonia from standing around in the freezing weather playing with the chicken and died a few days later.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's where this story should end, right? Famous scientist dies in pneumonia after chicken experiment. But that's not the end. Because according to centuries of witness accounts, centuries, right? Hundreds of years of witnesses have seen this. That chicken, or something that looks remarkably like it, is still running around Highgate. So fast forward to the present day.
Okay.
This is still going on, right? Fast forward to the present day. And Pond Square in Highgate has become famous for something that no urban planner ever intended. Regular sightings of what locals call the ghost chicken. And we're not talking about a majestic, ethereal bird gliding through the mist. We're talking about Mr. Bacon's chicken that's half plucked, rough looking, that appears to be in a perpetual state of panic.
That chicken's having a bad day.
That's so sad.
A bad eternity, it sounds like, right?
That's what I'm saying. A bad eternity.
Yeah. So witnesses describe the same basic encounter over and over again. They're walking through the square, usually in the evening, often with a romantic partner, when suddenly this disheveled chicken appears, starts running around frantic circles, not walking, not pecking at the ground like a normal chicken, running in circles like it's trying to escape something invisible.
We're trying to get warm because it's filled with snow.
That could be too, right? I mean, you never know.
How did it get filled with snow? Do you think he put the snow down the gullet, or
it's a great question. It makes you wonder how he got the snow inside of it, right? It didn't give me that information when I did my research. It didn't tell me how it installed the snow.
Installed the snow?
Like how I put it installed. Crammed it inside.
Oh, whatever.
So what do you, let me ask you this. I was wondering this too. If you could be haunted by a farm animal, what farm animal would you want to be haunted by?
I know which one I wouldn't want to be haunted by. I would not want to be haunted by a goat. Have you heard goats scream? Have you heard these?
True.
That's terrifying, Maria.
Their eyes are terrifying, and like they're kind of somewhat association with like demonic things. Like, yeah, no, definitely not a goat.
The funniest thing about goats too is that when they get really scared, they go into anaphylaxis. They get real stiff and fall over. Have you seen this too? Look that up if you want.
I've seen the fainting goats. Yeah.
Yeah, the fainting goats.
Maybe
it's the same thing happens
yeah.
with sheep. Yeah, possums do it. Where possums will just like, that's what they say. Like, oh, you're playing possum, but they just go into anaphylaxis out of fear.
Yep.
No, I'm saying like maybe a sheep to haunt me. Like that's one of the more cute ones.
Something to help put you to sleep. You just count it.
Yeah.
I don't know, Tim. There's not a whole lot of different. I guess, can I get haunted by a horse?
Yeah, a farm animal, right?
Yeah, I think so.
A Highland cow.
I was going to think a cow. Yeah, I wonder if I could get
those
some
really fuzzy
milk
cows that are so cute.
Yeah.
You know those ones that have like the big like fluffy around their face. You know what I'm talking about? Those would be cool.
So like you said before, right? If it was just running around, even if it didn't have its head, because of the saying, right? You just think, oh, this is just some chicken on the loose that's going crazy or something's wrong. But every single one of the accounts talks about how it runs directly at the old brick wall. One of the brick walls. It doesn't even have to be the same wall. They said it could be different ones, but the area is surrounded in brick walls, and it disappears right through it. No bushes in front of it. Nothing.
Okay.
It just runs into it and disappears right through it.
Has it ever been seen like indoors?
It's always in this square. No, it's always out in this square area where it's outside. And from what I read, the sightings have been remarkably consistent over the decades. So multiple couples have reported identical encounters. And a lot of them were completely unaware that others have seen the same thing or that this was even a thing.
So
There's no pattern to the timing. It's not like, at 3:30 in the morning every night or on specific nights. There's no pattern. It's been spotted.
Are you saying that the only
seasons.
pattern is that it is just romantic couples that see the chicken, though?
Mostly.
Other people see
there
the
have been
chicken?
single people that have
Mostly.
found it too.
It's odd to me because a lot of times with ghosts and stuff like this, a lot of people there's a popular feeling, at least if you're a believer, that ghosts need closure to move on, and a ghost will haunt a location until they have some type of closure and they're able to cross over, move on, whatever. I wonder if the chicken somehow needs some type of closure from his death and how you would be able to potentially provide said closure. But I think it's also interesting that a lot of romantic couples are reporting that chicken and not just people on their own. I know you just said that a lot of people do report it on their own, maybe, but
But it was like an 80-20 split, so 80% romantic
80-20
couples. So I wonder if that has something to do with it.
You think the chicken was in love before they took his life?
Oh.
Oh yeah, make the story sad now.
No, I'm just saying, listen, in my family, so in my family, we had this saying growing up, like if we're cooking a chicken or if we're eating like a pork for dinner, if we're having like a roast pork, like we do a lot of the pork over the spit, suckling pig. The funny saying in my family was like, oh man, this animal is so delicious. When it died, it must have been in love to taste this good. Like, I'm wondering if that chicken was in love. I don't know. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think chickens are one of the birds that mate for life with one partner. Maybe the chicken had a romantic interest and he had a date.
So I've never heard that saying in my life, Frank.
What? You never heard what saying?
That it tastes so good that it must have been in love?
I think it's just my
Is that
family.
just your
says that.
family thing, or do
I
other
think
people say that?
it might be just a Barrientos thing. I don't know if other people say that type of dark shit.
I want to know if you're watching, if this is a saying in your family.
Yeah,
put it in the comments.
Put it in the
because I'm
comments.
curious.
If you say this animal must have been in love when it died, I would definitely shout that person out in the comments next show.
Wait, okay. So
For
was
real.
it a hen or a rooster?
Good question.
So it's a great question.
Did it have
I
the
have
giblets
no
under
idea.
here?
I have no idea.
Hmm.
The story's kind of vague in that aspect. The only thing it talks about is that it was a chicken, the issues with the chicken, and that it was an experiment, a science experiment, and that the scientist himself passed away 3 days later because of pneumonia, and that the hauntings have been going on since the 1600s to the present day. And the only constants are the location of where it happens, the behavior of the chicken, what it does, right? And the fact that it always ends with the chicken vanishing through the wall.
Hold on, Tim. Let me ask you this question. I just thought of this. So you're saying the haunting was the scientist trying to put snow in the chicken. Why?
To preserve it.
To preserve it. Why would he then, why was he plucking its feathers off then? What did that have to do with the experiment?
Another thing that wasn't noted.
I mean, you could put the snow, you could install the snow without plucking the feathers.
I mean, maybe he thought that if he took the feathers off, then the snow would last longer because maybe the feathers would warm it up and keep it warm, so the snow wouldn't be as effective as preserving it. I don't know.
We'll
Have there been any sightings of bacon?
No sightings of the scientist himself. Yeah. No, just
Because I mean,
the chicken,
I'm
which is
just
crazy.
picturing the scientist's ghost and the chicken is running away from him, So
Yeah.
just eternal.
It is kind of funny that that he's a scientist that's known for the man who gave us the scientific method, but he's going to be known after his death for all these years, hundreds of years, as the man who invented a ghost chicken.
I would have thought that the man who invented the scientific method would have been smart enough not to get himself killed with pneumonia.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess
Well,
early
germ theory
1600s.
hadn't really been.
Yeah. Maybe one of those where you're so smart you can't tie your own shoelaces kind of thing, right?
Is that a thing? I've never heard
I
of
think
that.
so. You didn't hear? I heard that about Einstein. I don't know if it's true.
I've heard a lot of things about Einstein. I don't know.
Did he create any ghosts? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He was a cool guy, but I heard he was like very messy and stuff like that. It's always weird to me when somebody's really smart but really messy, because I feel like in my own experience, let me know about your experiences. When I meet somebody who I think is like really smart, they're always really like clean and organized, and they have like organizational methods that they use for whatever they're trying to organize. Like their desks are probably put away in a certain way. Their kitchens are like things go in a certain spot. It's usually not like the messy person that's like the smartest person in the room. You know what I mean?
I know. I met some really brilliant people who you wouldn't think. You'd look at them and be like, you'd almost look at them and think that they were like a bum, right? They'd be wearing dirty clothes. They would be, wouldn't have their hair done. Yeah, their hygiene wasn't great.
Yeah.
But they were brilliant. Like when I worked at Hewlett Packard, a lot of the engineers, there was one in particular I'm thinking of, and this guy, probably invented most of the stuff there, and it was like, really? But you looked at him and you think, if you saw him on the street, you might ask if the guy's homeless, right?
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I would imagine that depending on what your role is at HP, depending on what that person does, you could have the perception of being smart without really that person being smart. And I know an example of that is I actually owned my very first home computer was a Hewlett Packard. And my uncle, at one time, it was right when Windows 95 came out. So my uncle came over, got the computer, and he installed Windows 95 next to DOS. Like he partitioned the disk manually. Mm-hmm. And he was just clacking the keyboards. It was all command line, right? And he was doing MS-DOS partitioning. And at the time, I thought he was a fucking wizard. I thought that was amazing. I was just a little kid. I was so like in shock and awe that I saw him partitioning the disks and installing Windows 95 alongside, in a dual boot. But now it's like, that's not even that difficult. Like as an adult now, I know that like that's not wizardry. That's actually kind of common. And I've done it 100 million times myself. So what was that? Oh,
excuse
Tim,
me.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just choking on my water. Didn't hit my mute button fast enough.
As long as you're not eating any chicken there, then okay.
Nope, no chicken tonight. Just waffles.
Do you guys remember that commercial? I feel like chicken tonight. Maria does not remember that commercial.
No.
You don't remember that commercial, Tim?
No.
They used to sell a jar of sauce that you would just so you would make like a pan fried chicken, and then you would just put in this like, I think it like looked like Alfredo sauce in there, and then you just cook the sauce into the chicken in there, and then that's your meal. And that was their commercial. It was really catchy.
Nope, never saw that one.
Cool.
All right, back on track. So I mean that's the story of the ghost chicken. And as ridiculous as the ghost chicken might be, this next case takes absurdity to an entirely different level. Because while dying in a scientific experiment is at least somewhat noble, our next ghost origin story involves the most trivial motivation for unaliving themselves in recorded history. Okay, this one is called the Water Ghost of Harrow Hall. So we're talking about a woman who is so upset about her bedroom paint that she drowned herself in protest and then decided to spend eternity flooding the room every Christmas.
Oh, man.
Like I said, it's crazy that these are actual events and stories that have never been proven untrue. So this case comes from the pen of an American humorist, John Kendricks Banks, who in 1894 published what he claimed was a true account in his collection, The Water Ghost and Others. And I know the first thing I thought was, if it's published as humor, how can this be a real case, right? And that's where things get interesting, because Bangs insisted that the story was based on actual events at an English estate, and the details are so specific and bizarre that they're either completely true or the product of the most creative imagination in Victorian literature. So let me set the scene for you. We're talking about Harrow Hall. It's a grand English estate with all the usual amenities, sprawling grounds, elegant rooms, a rich family history, and apparently the most petty ghost in supernatural history. The story begins with a woman, and the story never tells us her name, which makes this story more absurd. But she was staying as a guest at Harrow Hall. Everything was going perfect until she saw her assigned bedroom. The room had recently been redecorated, and when she laid eyes on the new paint scheme, she was so horrified, so absolutely devastated by the color choices, that she decided that her life was no longer worth living. So,
What color was it?
you know, the story doesn't even say how bad it was. Why is there a color scheme that would make you feel that way, Maria?
Oh, I'm just curious. I mean,
Okay, Maria, let's say you visit Tim, right? You go to his house as a guest. Can you walk into one of his room and then you cannot even with one of the colors that doesn't sound like like if you're the owner, sure, be upset, but like as a guest, she's going to be.
It's for a few days, right?
yeah.
You know, it's not like you're going to be there forever.
But you don't even have to stay in the room, really. Rooms are for sleeping, right?
Yeah.
Like she could just, if
Yeah,
there's
go put
all
on your
usual
little eye mask
amenities.
and go to sleep. You wouldn't even see the balls.
How like
What color?
soon after, like she saw the paint, and then like how soon later did she?
Well, here,
Pass.
I'll walk you through it.
Okay.
I'll walk you through it. So
Please.
our unnamed guest was apparently very committed to her aesthetic principles. Rather than, asking for a different room or just closing her eyes and dealing with it for a few nights, she marched straight out of the house. So, no, wait, she walked in the room, saw how bad it was, marched straight out of the house, found the nearest body of water, and then drowned herself in protest.
Hold on, Tim. Hold on.
Immediate.
Back the truck up here. What this is starting to sound like is somebody actually drowned this woman and then made up this elaborate lie of a story to cover up the murder is what it sounds like to me.
Or it was
What
her
happened?
final
What
straw.
happened to her?
No one was
What
ever charged.
The fucking, the constable comes out and he's like, "What's all this then?" And then the guy's like, "I don't know. My mom, she drowned herself because of the paint."
Well, okay. Well, let me get through the rest of the story, and then maybe we'll tie it into. Oh, maybe she did do this because of what's happening now, right?
Okay. All right.
Because it's not. I mean, if the story ended there, that'd be the end of it, right? It wouldn't even be a ghost story,
Okay.
right? It'd be tragic overreaction to paint colors. Case closed.
That doesn't make sense to me, so I'm glad there's more.
Yeah. So every Christmas Eve, and it specifically stated that's not when she stayed there. So this didn't happen on Christmas Eve. So this isn't like an anniversary date for when this happened for her to haunt this. But every Christmas Eve at the stroke of midnight, she returns to Harrow Hall with a very specific mission: to flood that offending bedroom until it's completely uninhabitable. So this isn't just a little dampness we're talking about. According to accounts, she appears as what Bangs calls the damp and dewy lady, and proceeds to soak the room so thoroughly that it becomes completely waterlogged. The furniture floats, carpets are ruined, and anyone unfortunate enough to be sleeping in that room gets the world's most supernatural wake-up call. And they probably find out if you actually pee yourself when you get wet in your sleep. I don't know if that's true or false, but I'm sure they know. So the family tried everything to stop her. They waterproofed the room. She found a way around it. They installed drainage systems. She overwhelmed them. They even tried heating the room with steam pipes, hoping to evaporate her before she could do any damage. But that didn't work. The ghost was very persistent. So, can you guess what they were able to do to end this haunting?
Tear the building down.
Repaint it.
Nope.
Oh.
Think about it. What is a way that you would fight water with?
Fire.
Close, but no.
Sand. They put
Nope.
sand in the
Towels.
room.
Sandbags. I like that.
Sandbag
I like
the
that.
room.
Get her with some sandbags.
They made tea. I don't know. Maria, help me out here. What are we doing?
I said towels, but I don't know.
Oh, towels. is the best
Towels
you
isn't
got?
it either.
Oh,
Not even downy towels, right? Like they're supposed to-
Dehumidifier. Dehumidifier. Let's go.
Demolished
Here's what they say. They say the haunting was finally ended by one of the ingenious young heirs to the estate who waited one Christmas Eve for the ghost to appear and begin her annual flooding ritual. Then you know what she did? She turned the room into freezing temperature and caused all the water to turn to ice, trapping her in her own supernatural shower bath until she finally gave up and moved on to whatever afterlife awaits ghosts with questionable priorities.
That doesn't sound like good closure at all. It's like they're playing by
It's so unbelievable and unrealistic to me, but it's never been proven to be untrue.
I actually liked what Maria's suggestion was. They should have just kept painting that house a different color every year before Christmas until they hit the right color where that ghost would be like, now I'm happy. Now I can move on now.
That sounds like it would be a better way to get closure for sure, right? Instead of being like, oh, I beat you. It's like, oh, I kind of made you happy.
It also sounds, so here's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like this woman killed herself because of the colors. That sounds like to cover up a murder. And this sounds like a way for people to cover up their bad craftsmanship on the house. Oh, well, no, the room doesn't flood. It's just the ghost.
And then we froze it.
Yeah, like, do they say where the water is coming from?
Is it like coming from the bottom up? Is it coming from the top down? It's coming out of like the sockets, or
it's coming from the room itself. Obviously, the ghost is doing it. If there was a logical explanation, then this would be debunked.
And like my thought for like my previous question of like how long it took for her to like go and like unalive herself was like maybe the paint had some lead in it and like she got poisoned and like she started thinking irrationally, but no, guess that's not it.
No, yeah, it's not even like, she wasn't even in there long enough to go crazy, right? She saw it and was like, oh, I just can't.
How do we know that so there's this person who eventually got the property who says that he was able to get rid of the ghost. How do we know that his story isn't just a lie? Like, that's something that he just came up with to brag about. I got rid of ghost once. This house was haunted, right? You know how I got rid of it? I froze it. Like, it sounds like I don't know. I don't know. I mean, put down in the comments what you guys think about this one. I'd really like to read some comments on that.
I mean, I mean, these are, I haven't been debugged, but personally, this one I find very hard to believe. The other two that I have, the
chicken running into the wall, though, that could totally happen.
I believe that more than this.
Yeah, I can see that.
On for 400 years. This was still written by a guy who wrote humor books, right? I don't know. And it just seems so ridiculous. I mean, I guess if you know anybody who would overreact to that extent over paint, I don't know. What's the most trivial thing you overreact to?
Oh, don't get me started. There's a whole list.
Well, that's why I asked.
I'm trying to think because I've definitely had like, it's really funny. So in the past, I've done a lot of painting of a lot of different rooms and with a lot of different people in my life that have come in and out of my life. And I can say that there's always a debate that happens when you're at Home Depot and you have all those little swatches, and then you take all these swatches home and you're like putting them up against the wall and to see like which one looks the best. But realistically, you're never going to get the exact same colors on the swatch because the medium is different. When you're printing a swatch out digitally, like it's going to be different from physical paint. There's so many factors that it's not even going to be the same shade. So there's really not a huge point to argue over like sand, brown, and eggshell and like all these little subtle differences. If anything, you'd have to paint the whole room one color and then paint it something else to see what it's actually going to look like, because the swatches really don't, paint the whole picture. But I don't know. I don't think I've ever met anyone who would do the whole unaliving because of the paint. I really haven't. Especially as it doesn't make sense, especially as a guest.
Yeah. And I would say for me, the most trivial thing I get mad about, like angry, is probably like, do you guys have kids?
No.
Yeah.
One. You take them to school. When you take your kid to school and you don't follow the rules of the road, and there's somebody that just like pulls over in front of everybody, just drops their kid off on the street. I mean, that angers me.
Boils blood.
I'm pretty chill dude, but that really upsets me. It's like, dude, what makes you better than everybody else? Makes you think you're better than everybody else.
Traffic related stuff makes me very, very, very angry too.
Yeah.
Or like I get my blood boils. This happens a lot in Chicago with some of our highways out here. If anyone here is from Chicago, we have a highway, the 290 especially is a big one where it's like rush hour, traffic jam, and there's these people that just get on the shoulder and just take the shoulder the whole way of wherever they're going. Just get on the shoulder and they just drive on the shoulder and they're going 80 miles an hour on the shoulder. Line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, another thing that bothers me too, now that we're thinking about it, when I'm at a left turn lane on a light and I'm just going to turn left and there's somebody ahead of me who doesn't go out into the middle of the intersection to give me a chance.
Yeah.
That
yep.
boils my blood. I almost want to honk every time. I don't honk, but thank God for my wife who prevents me from pissing people off. But yeah, it's a lot of road rage stuff makes me upset. I never really act on it, but
Maria?
I guess same. Yeah, some like road related stuff. Like whenever like you're driving, like you're like a little bit above the speed limit, but there's like that car right behind you, and then they pass you, get ahead of you, and then they slow down. Like, what's the point?
Oh, yeah.
And then whenever like the lights are green, but they're not going. So at that point, like I do honk because like,
you do honk. That's good. Make sure you honk every time.
Like it's green, go.
There was a lady that was driving up my ass the other day, and like I ended up getting out of the lane and like getting back into it. So I was up like right next to her at the next stoplight. This lady was doing her fucking nails while driving, like painting her nails. And then there was another lady. My wife was telling me when she was driving on her way to work. There's a lady like eating yogurt. It was like the big main road out in front of my place is under construction. So sometimes in the morning it gets down to one lane of traffic. And this lady was holding up, this one woman was holding up probably like 2 miles worth of cars because she was eating yogurt in her car, is what my wife said. So like, man,
that's annoying.
I get so upset.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and I think all of these are more valid than, unaliving yourself over paint colors in a place that you don't even own.
You know what Kay would say if Kay were here? Kay actually get her blood boils. I think you guys were here for this. I believe when you first joined, we had a get to know your legends episode. Do you remember this?
Yep.
Do you guys remember what used to make Kay very angry? I remember.
I don't.
She gets very angry, very specifically when RVs come into her town and then drive so fucking slow. Specifically RVs.
Specifically RVs. Yeah, I remember that now.
RVs. You remember it now?
I do. Now that you mentioned, I totally do. Because we're like, why RVs specifically?
I think it's just the tourist people.
Yeah.
So there's traffic related stuff there. Tim, you got real blurry for me again. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what keeps happening with my camera tonight.
Dude, the camera's haunted.
For real. It doesn't like these stories. There we go.
Maria
likes
opened
to
up a
put me in and
cat
out of
dimension.
focus. There we go.
I know, yeah.
All right. What you got for us? Have you got another one for us?
I do.
Oh, okay.
In fact, our next story involves a man who was so convinced he would return as a dog that he lived with 14 of them.
What?
Yep.
What's that going to do?
Yeah, well, you're going to find out. And this actually takes us to the Scottish Highlands.
Okay.
And was once considered the most haunted house in Scotland.
Oh.
Yeah. So this isn't your typical tale of mysterious footsteps and cold spots. This is the story about how one man's unusual spiritual beliefs, combined with his nephew's spectacularly bad decision-making, created what might be the most ironic supernatural disaster recorded in Scottish history. So, Major Robert Stewart, a career military man who spent years serving in the Indian Army during the height of the British Empire. Military life in colonial India exposed soldiers to all sorts of different religious beliefs and philosophical ideas. And Stewart came back to Scotland with some very specific beliefs about what happens after death. Specifically, he became convinced that souls could transmigrate, so move from one body to another after death. And he had decided with absolute certainty that when he died, his soul would return in the body of a dog. So, I mean, if you're going to believe in reincarnation, a dog probably wouldn't be bad, right? You get
I saw that movie
belly
Fluke.
rubs.
I liked it.
Yeah. I forgot about that movie.
You forgot about Fluke? Don't forget about
Forgot
Fluke.
about it.
Maria,
That's so
do you feel
funny.
like crying? You got to watch Fluke if you feel like crying.
So, you know, it seems weird, but Stewart was committed to this plan. In fact, he was so committed that he turned Balachin House into what was essentially a canine commune. He lived with 14 dogs, not as pets, but as potential vessels for his future
Oh
soul.
my gosh.
What happens to the dog that's already in the vessel? What happens to them?
Well, we might not have to worry about that. I'll tell you.
Okay.
He wanted to make sure that when the time came, he'd have plenty of options for his spiritual relocation. Stewart never married, which probably made sense given his house was essentially a dog sanctuary with delusions of spiritual
Surprise,
grandeur.
surprise.
And when he died, the estate was passed on to his nephew, who inherited not just the house, but the 14 dogs and rather unusual expectation that his uncle might return as one of them. So before I go into the rest, what are your thoughts so far on this? I just want to kind of fill you guys
I
out.
think I'm going to call my mom and ask her if this is the reason she tries to keep so many dogs.
She got a lot of dogs?
No, she used to. It's a joke. She used to, but I kind of know why. But it's interesting. Maria, what's your thought on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's reincarnation because, like, I don't think you can really pick what you come back as.
Yeah, I think even if you believe in reincarnation, you don't get to pick your vessel.
No,
Yeah,
you
I don't know.
don't. Because, well, like, at least from what I know, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, like, reincarnation, it's kind of like you have to do over your life because you didn't reach the nirvana yet. It's kind of like a small punishment that you have to come back, and you have to come back as like a plant or something so that you learn a lesson. So I don't think
Oh,
you
wow.
get to pick.
I've read some crazy shit where you have like a near death experience and you're like knocked out, and do you ever hear that situation where people say, oh, like go towards the light, or like you don't go towards the light?
Yeah.
Most people want to go towards the light. There's a lot of like conspiracy related spirituality stuff where like conspiracy and spirituality kind of cross paths. There's a theory that the people who are in charge actually want to continually harvest your soul, and you get reincarnated so they could reharvest your soul again and again. And when you choose to go towards the light, it's because you think it's a good thing, but it's bad because you get reincarnated and you have to relive a life and then have another soul for them to harvest. Whereas if you choose to not go towards the light, you actually get to just die and be at peace. It's real. I know it sounds kind of batshit crazy, but there are people that, yeah, real talk.
Wow. I never heard that before.
There's some wild things out there that
Man, I kind of want you to do an episode on that now so that I can understand about it. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. So I think when I came across that theory, you know, sometimes when you're reading conspiracy stuff, like I read at like 3 a.m., one of the biggest questions everybody has is like, what's the end goal, right? Because some of these conspiracies go from just trying to have control. Some of them are like, oh, well, there's like lizard people. And you know, it's like funny because we know the lizard people thing is pretty absurd, but like there are people that wholeheartedly believe in it, right? And so like, what's the end goal? So a lot of people figure that at the very minimum, lizard people may not be a thing, but aliens are most definitely a thing, and aliens within living on Earth are a thing, and they're controlling things. And like, what do the aliens want? Well, the aliens apparently just want our souls. We're a soul farm for them. They just want to reharvest us over and over again. And we could do a show in the future on it. I'd have to research it a little bit more, but it is something completely absurd. But
I mean, I'm interested, but I guess, yeah, leave it in the comments if you want.
If you want me to talk about going towards the light and soul harvesting and the end game, let me know. Conspiracy end game.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting myself.
No, it's real. And there's the people that say that they know about this say that, or some of the people at the very minimum say they know about this because they've had a journey with DMT, and that allowed them to kind of see this. Or there's people that have had near-death experiences where they'll come back and report like, oh, I saw XYZ. Or, you know, I'm aware that I'm reincarnated into this new body, and, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, there's people that have written books. There's a book out there on forcible soul extraction. that happens. In fact, when the Queen died, there was something that was, you guys remember when the Queen died a few years back?
Mm-hmm.
There was something really spooky that they were saying over the loudspeaker when they were like transporting her body. I don't remember, but the conspiracy theorists were all over it because the theory at the time was that she was going to be, hold on, just really quick, because this is kind of interesting. Yeah. What was that royal lady who they thought she died because they didn't see her for a long time? And then she came out and said, oh, well, it's because I have cancer. Do you guys remember this? Or something about it?
Vaguely. I remember hearing, I can't remember who it was. Or
is she from the British royalty?
Yes.
Or?
So she was in the British royal family, and she went a long time without having any, if you guys want to like Google this while I'm talking about it, feel free, but there's a member of the royal family. I remember talking to Kay and Joan about it. And she just was not pictured for a long time. So people were saying that she died and they were covering it up, or they don't want to talk about her death, all this stuff. Right. So, when the Queen died, and they were very upfront when the Queen died, some of the crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists were saying that the Queen died, but they did a ritual to put the Queen's soul and being into her body. And that's why that woman like went missing, because like they transported they put the Queen's soul inside of it. And like there was some event that happened when they were transporting the Queen's body where it was like, oh my God, that's so creepy that was said over the loudspeaker. I'll link you guys to it. Put down in the comments if you want to hear more about that.
I'm seeing Catherine Middleton, Princess of Wales.
Yeah,
yes,
that's her.
That sounds
that's
right.
her.
Interesting. But the dogs, like, did any of the dogs ever like start acting like a human, or?
Here, let me jump into that. So most people, I mean, if my uncle asked me to keep the dogs and do that, I don't know. I like dogs. I don't know if I'd keep 14 dogs, but
14 is too many. I think anything. No, I'm realistically anything past like 2 or 3 tops. You can't give them as much attention as they're going to deserve and need to be okay, right? Like, it's like why you don't want to have too many kids. Like you got to give them individual support to an amount where it's kind of fair.
Yeah, I agree. But some people might have kept them all since that was his wishes, right? See what happens. Maybe set up a little shrine in case Uncle Robert comes back.
Yeah, you know what? I do believe there was that movie, The Christmas Story. The Bumpuses next door had like 14 dogs in that movie. The Bumpus Hounds. They ate the turkey at the end of the movie.
Well, Stuart's nephew had a different approach to supernatural pest control. He actually ordered all 14 dogs shot.
Oh my God. Why would Tim?
So
should have a trigger warning for this video with like animal.
Tim, I told you got to start doing that.
Yep, I know. My bad. I should have listened.
Maria, if you only knew.
The nephew's reasoning was simple, right? No dogs, no vessel for Uncle Robert's soul, no haunting.
He just didn't want his uncle back.
It kind of makes sense to me, right? Thought it was good problem solving. Unfortunately, it was also something that went spectacularly wrong. So, because instead of preventing a haunting in the dogs, the mass dog murder seemed to actually guarantee one, right? And not the relatively benign haunting of Uncle Robert returning as a friendly dog. No, this created something much worse. Uncle Robert, as a disembodied spirit, apparently very angry about what had happened to his potential host bodies. So the manifestations began almost immediately.
No.
Stuart's nephew's wife was working in the study when she was suddenly overwhelmed by a strong canine odor, followed by what felt like a dog nudging against her leg. But when she looked down, you guessed it, there was nothing there.
My bodies. No.
Well, imagine trying to explain that to your husband, right? She's like, honey, I think your dead uncle is haunting us as an invisible dog again. Right?
Wait, so like, is it dogs that are like also the ghost, or is it just the uncle acting as a dog while being a ghost?
Does he smell like a dog out of spite? He's like, man, I'm gonna get their goat.
Well, like at first when I was researching this, I'm like, well, I mean, I don't think it'd be uncommon to have dog smell occasionally in a house that had 14 dogs in it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're bound to get a whiff even if you have the place professionally cleaned, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
But the nudges, probably not so much. But those nudges were just the beginning. Soon the house was filled with strange noises. There were explosions, argument sounds that had no identifiable source. Servants started quitting. Governesses fled in the middle of the night. The house developed a reputation that made it nearly impossible to staff. Wow. The supernatural activity escalated in 1895 when the nephew himself received what witnesses described as 3 aggressive knocks on his door. Knocks that were later interpreted as a warning. On the same day he heard those knocks, Stewart's nephew was fatally struck by a cab in what seemed like a tragic coincidence, but which locals interpret as supernatural revenge. A new family moved into the house in 1896, probably thinking they were getting a great deal on this beautiful Scottish estate, and they lasted 11 weeks. 11 weeks of invisible dogs brushing against their legs, mysterious odors, unexplained sounds, and what one witness described as the apparition of a black spaniel playing with a real one. So, can you imagine having your dog have an invisible friend? A little spooky.
Let me ask you guys this a sort of related question. If you have a child and they're like, "Well, I have an imaginary friend," at what age does that no longer be like? It's cute at one point, right? But like, at what age does that become like, okay, this might be a ghost?
Is it ever cute, really? I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's ever cute, but I think 6 or 7 is probably like too old, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any kids yet, but like maybe 5, 4 or 5.
At 5,
that's where I'm like,
okay, so 4 or 5, you're like, okay, and then like once they turn 6, you're like, nah, you don't have an imaginary friend.
Well, because 6 is when you start, or 5 or 6, like preschool and kindergarten, that kind of stuff, right? I think when you start having like real physical friends, you shouldn't have invisible ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I feel like within psychology, when you're playing with dolls or toys, those are like imaginary friends, right? If you have a doll or a plushie that you take with you, right? So it's just something tangible versus not tangible. It doesn't have to be creepy.
I mean, yeah, but then like if they start drawing creepy pictures like this,
now you're taking it
dark
far.
mask, then it's like, oh, this is my imaginary friend.
I feel like I've seen a number of movies like that. Tim, I think this story is like the best one. I think they could make this one into a movie and I'd watch it.
And that's why it's the last one, right? Because it's, I saved the best for last. One of the crazy details from one of the witnesses, they reported seeing 2 detached black paws appearing by their bedside table. Not a whole dog, not even a partial apparition, just 2 disembodied paws sitting there on the nightstand. So some crazy stuff there. The story does have a dramatic ending. By 1932, the Balachin house was abandoned. Its reputation made it impossible to inhabit. And in 1963, a fire destroyed the structure. And with it, the haunting finally ended. Uncle Robert and his invisible dogs were never heard from again.
It's sad. It's sad when the animals suffer.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like animals more than people, admittingly. So it sucks. Like those 14 dogs, they're just innocent. They didn't do anything. It sucks.
Yeah, so I mean, I was gonna ask you guys which was your favorite, but it sounds like out of the 3, this one was
well, the favorite. Like, so this one is very tragic. So it's hard to put the word favorite on something that's such a tragedy. What's your favorite tragedy here? No,
favorite tragedy.
So that feels weird. I would actually like to see the chicken in the first story. I think that's cool. And as far as the one with the paint goes, that's just a ghost. That's somebody that unalived themselves out of spite. How spiteful would you have to be?
Right?
I don't know. They're all kind of kooky, but I think I'm most I guess entertained by the last one. I think it's really cool that I guess the cool part is he thought he was going to die and come back as a dog. I think that could be explored as something that's really, really cool. Like, how many people are going to actually do that? and like change their life accordingly.
And my camera is like going crazy tonight. Look, every time I'm okay.
Dude, what is going on,
Man,
Maria?
Ghost camera.
Maria, which one of these stories did you like the best?
I say like the least depressing one, I guess, would be the chicken one, because it's just
Chicken
like
is
it's
the
kind of
least
comedic. And like there's still a possibility of like seeing it if there's still people experiencing it to this day maybe. But the dog one, yeah, it's definitely sad, but like in a way they kind of got like their revenge. Like, you thought that you were gonna get rid of us, but we're still here. So yeah, poor puppies.
Poor puppies.
Yeah.
If you guys could choose the animal that you got reincarnated to be, what would you choose as an animal?
Probably a bunny rabbit.
No, I don't know. Bunny rabbit? You, Tim? Really? I don't know. Maybe like a jackrabbit at minimum, not a bunny rabbit. I would have thought that you were going to say something like an eagle or something, Tim, like something tough and bold. Let's see here. Maria, what do you think? What do you think you'd be reincarnated as, or what would you like to be reincarnated as?
Maybe either a cheetah or an orca.
Oh, those are very specific.
Yeah.
I was watching this documentary about Richard Gere, and I kind of want to come back as a gerbil.
Shit.
I knew I'd get him. I knew I'd get Tim.
My camera too.
I knew I was going to get you with that one, Tim.
There we go.
All right. I think we should start close this one up. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's all I had. So
all good. Maria, I think you're by default first to give your final thoughts here.
Yeah, I would say I would like to experience the chicken one just to see if it really does happen. And I don't know, like Francis Bacon, yeah, he's one of the founding fathers for like scientific stuff. So pretty interesting to see if he also has a ghost that's walking around there or something.
Did you know about Francis Bacon prior to tonight? Did you know him by name already,
Yeah, but I
Maria?
didn't know this story. So that's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. I just learned about him, like the actual stuff in school, like no lore behind what he was up to on his off days.
Wouldn't it be funny? Maria, wouldn't it be funny if like you went to work and then you like retold some of the story and somebody's like, nah, that's all bullshit. That didn't happen. And then like they prove it that like Tim made this all of this up. And they're like, and you're like trying to tell people it's factual. I'd laugh. That's playing the long game. All right, Tim. Unless you got anything else, Maria.
I mean, the dog one, it's sad that like the like place burned down. It would have been nice to see what the estate like looked like and everything, to see like, you know, if anyone could like go there and see if they could actually experience anything else, or maybe the land still has something that you could experience, like the dogs running on the fields. But yeah, a lot of interesting stories. I don't believe the second one though. Sorry, Tim.
Tim doesn't believe it either.
Don't be sorry. I don't believe it either. Yeah. Yeah, I would say to me, the most believable is the third one.
Yeah.
Just because of the motive, right? There's good reason behind it, everything else. The second one, I think, is the least likely, just because, I mean, I just can't imagine somebody doing that over paint.
Yeah.
And then coming back and haunting in such a weird way, right? On a date that has no significance to them. So it just seems very unlikely to me. But doesn't make it untrue, just means I don't believe it, right? And then the first one, the chicken one, I think that one is a fun one. And I think
that's very fun.
Yeah, it'd be a fun one to go and try to experience. But whether it's true or not, I don't know. But like I said, I think the most likely is the third. And I had fun looking at this stuff because I'm reading through it and I'm putting together my presentation. I'm like, and I just can imagine the last we're going to have.
I think we should do a topic on just really funny ghost stories, just fun, specifically funny ones like that.
Yeah.
I would also like to do a topic. My final thought is I would like to do a topic on ghost revenge. I think that's really great.
Ooh.
I think that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I think that'd be cool.
Just revenge from beyond the grave would be amazing. Put down in the comments if you'd like us to talk about that. I think it could make a really great topic. Put down in the comments also if you'd like to talk about soul harvesting as a topic and all that craziness that people believe there. And I was gonna say as a final thought, also kind of stepping away from this stuff, which was really great. Thank you, Tim. Next week we've got Halloween movie night, where we're going to be talking about all of our favorite spooky movies that we like to watch. So if you guys want to participate in that one, let us know in the comments what your favorite movies are, and maybe we could talk about them and mention them and say like what we think about them. I know that within our group we probably have a lot of people that watch some really B-side movies, which is going to be interesting. And then the week after that is already the end of October, Halloween special, and our team is going to be dressing up like Harry Potter characters. So some surprises there, some fun there. We're going to have all hands on deck for that one, so definitely tune in, and we'll see you then. But until next week when we do Paranormal Movie Night, thank you for tuning in, thank you for telling a friend, thank you for kissing your mom before she gets reincarnated into a dog, and we will see y'all next week. Take care of yourselves. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
The shadows remind me you're still here, and you're lonely.